Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the 30th day of July, 2024. I hope you're safe and healthy today. I hope your family's safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are saving lives. Those also that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help, rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia, people that are also victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, double curses on the profiteers, and double curses on the perverts that create this industry. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, children, families, veterans, senior citizens, homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Today I want to discuss quickly the Julius Randle approaching extension date. So Julius will be able to receive an extension. I think it's in August. He'll be eligible to sign an extension of approximately $181 million. Okay, let's go back for a second and look at, and this is the thing, a lot of times narratives are created, and they're created based in a snapshot at the moment. They don't consider the long-term ramifications, nor what brought you to the moment, which is all important in my view. So in the case of Julius Randle, so Julius Randle was drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers as a lottery pick in 2018. And as a lottery pick in 2018, he received a 4-year guaranteed contract for $13.5 million. Yes, he received a 4-year contract for $13.5 million. After his rookie deal ended, the Lakers did not offer him an extension. And so he ended up signing with the New Orleans Pelicans for the mid-level exception at the time. It was 2 years, about a little less than $18 million. It was the mid-level exception. The non-taxpayer mid-level exception is what New Orleans used to sign him. So at that time, it was known that Julius Randle was an NBA player. It was not known how much he was really worth. Well, the market showed what he was worth, but the Lakers did not extend him. And so they did not think he was worth a long-term investment. He ended up going to New Orleans, like I said, a 2-year deal. At the end of that deal, Scott Perry and Steve Mills went out and signed him to a 3-year, $62 million deal. Now, for Julius, this represented a team in the Knicks that believed in him. That Scott Perry and Steve Mills were showing that he could become a player. I mean, he was putting up stats, but his teams weren't winning. He wasn't contributing to winning. And when he came to the Knicks, it was a 3-year deal. They weren't sure also if he could contribute to winning, but they were willing to take a chance on him. So, number one, Julius has some loyalty to the Knicks because of this. So then the first year that Julius played for the Knicks, it was pretty much a carbon copy of the Los Angeles Lakers years and the Pelicans years. So that after his first season in New York, there was a change in management. And now Leon Rose was going to be president of basketball operations. Now, at that time, the Knicks had not signed a coach yet. They had fired a coach, but they had not signed a coach yet as a permanent replacement for David Fizdale. So at that time, between the time Leon Rose took over as president of basketball operations at the end of Julius Randle's first year, and the summer when they actually hired Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks were thinking about starting over at the power forward spot and trading Julius Randle. And they drafted. They were already planning. The draft didn't happen when it usually happens that year, that June. It happened later in the fall. But Leon Rose, and it was known because Ian Begley had been reporting it as well as other outlets. But like I said, I really have only listened to Begley, Wojnarowski, and Shams, and increasingly Cats. But I'm not fully sold on Cats yet. But those are the only three guys I listen to. I heard somebody coming here telling me stuff about what Cats said and this and that and other people, and I don't care what they say. I really don't. So I don't care. And somebody wants it all. We don't all going to agree. I could let y'all know that right now. But I take what Ian Begley says seriously. So, and some people of course, we have seen recently, misquote Ian Begley or take his words out of context and make it seem like he's saying something that he's not saying, causing him to have to give an update on what he said. But anyway, that spring, Ian Begley was reporting the Knicks were looking for a power forward, which is a direct reflection on how they felt about Julius Randle. They had already planned on starting over with the four. They were still in rebuilding mode. So later that summer, they signed Tom Thibodeau to become the head coach. That fall, which is that year was the only year that I can remember that the draft was actually in the fall because of the COVID. So that fall, they drafted Obi Toppin. And he was drafted as the player of the year coming out of college at Dayton to be the future power forward. Thibodeau had other plans. And again, when you're building or rebuilding a franchise, you want to get the coach and the management on the same page. Generally, this means that the coach and management, the coach has a style of player he's looking for. He wants to play a certain style. Every coach does. Thibs, no exception. And so Thibs wants Leon and them to get players that fit what he wants. Now, the problem they had at that time was Thibs was never a coach, and he still is not, into playing rookies. So or young players. So he had R.J. Barrett at that time. He had Mitchell Robinson. He liked Mitchell Robinson because he was a shot blocking, rim protecting center, and so he knew he had something going into the future with him. But he wasn't so sold on R.J. Barrett at the time. Okay, R.J. was going into his second year. So he wasn't sold on that. And there was rumors that he wanted to trade Barrett. I believed them because that's how Thibs is. He's not a rookie young player dude. He's a vet dude. So he wasn't going to be playing Obi Toppin. But he leaned toward Juju. And he worked personally with Juju. And that year, Juju became both All-Star and All-NBA. Now, there were still doubts, including myself. After that first year, I did see a change in him. I wanted to trade him after the first year he was with the Knicks, but that second year, which was the first year with Tom Thibodeau, his second year with the Knicks was his first year with Tom Thibodeau. I still wasn't convinced that he can contribute to winning on a consistent basis. Remember, that was a COVID-shortened year. It was a 72-game season. The Knicks had a tremendous year that year with Alfred Payton, Bullock starting. And then later on, Nerlens Noel when Mitch Rob got hurt. And so they overachieved for sure that year. And there were obvious offensive limitations, as we saw that year in the playoffs, once they got gentlemen swept by Atlanta, 4-1. So it was still up in the air. The next year, the Don goes and gets Kemba Walker, mistake number 2. Okay, so he went and drafted Obi because I don't say that was a mistake because he was really planning on trading Julius and starting over with Obi, and him and Thibs weren't on the same page that year. Second year, they still weren't completely on the same page because Leon thinks we need offense, so he goes and gets Kemba. But what he's learned, which we all kind of know now, with Thibs, no defense, no bueno. So Kemba would play really fantastically for a quarter or two, then he'd be on one leg, and his defense was never great. He would take a lot of charges, but he was really terrible on the defensive end, did not fit Thibs' system. So that messed up there in the second year. So they go from 41 wins to 37 wins. Now, Juju, at that second season with Thibs, it was frustrating. It was very frustrating. That was the thumbs down season. That was, it was really frustrating for him. Now, he was loyal, though, to the Knicks because they gave him the 3-year, $62 million contract. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't think anybody else was going to give him that. So now, at the end of that year, okay, He gets an extension, 117 million. And people's like, he could have got, because he was all NBA, he was all star, he could have got 200 million. Nobody was gonna pay him that. Like I said, if you look at the history, it was really borderline. I mean, he was an NBA player talent wise, but how much would he contribute to winning? Teams want to win. So he gets this extension, $117 million. After that second year with Thibodeau, which was his third year in New York, the Knicks returned. You got rid of Fournier out the lineup. You got rid of Kevin Walker. And, now he was using, basically, he had Jalen Brunson. He had a lot of options. He brought in Derrick Rose the first year. This third year, he brings in Josh Hart. And now Thibs is getting the team that he wants. Juju becomes all NBA again, all-star again. And so now they win 47 games. Okay. And now, to me, that's when Julius turned the corner. I mean, really turned the corner. He really was showing the worst part of himself the second year with Thibs, and even part of his third year with Thibs. But Thibs was really loyal to Julius Randle, sticking with him thick and thin. Okay, when he's pushing assistant coaches' computers away, when he's jumping in Manuel Quickly's face, Thibs would just never say anything negative about him and stuck with him. So now you just finished this past season, another all-star season. And he would have been all-NBA in my view. And his defense picked up. His overall game is night and day. From his first year before Thibs came, his first year with New York to now, his overall game is night and day. His rebounding strength has always been there, but now he plays much better defense. He's much better of a leader. He's more of an elder statesman and more mature around the other guys. And he's more stable. And so New York is loyal to him and he's loyal to them. So Juju is a guy that can retire as a Knick. Okay, he's the first guy, the first major player that they got in the Thibs era, and he's come a long way. He's come very well. So now, where does that leave him with the extension? Well, now, so now he's on a 4-year, $117 million deal. He has a player option for the end of at the end of this year, 24-25, the 25-26 is a player option. Okay, he's eligible for an extension now. He's going to be 30 in November. So a 4-year extension would bring him to age 34. So now, what do the Knicks do? In my view, part of an extension is two parties obviously coming to an agreement, right? They both come to an agreement. But what are the factors that cause them to agree? Well, Ju has been loyal to the Knicks have been loyal to Ju. It would look pretty bad for a new culture on the Knicks to move him. See, NBA 2K people don't understand these type of nuances. It would look pretty bad because now he was loyal to you. He became all NBA under you. He started winning under you. He's still 30, which is not old. He's in his prime. And you're not going to extend him? Or you're going to cheap extend him? That would look rough, right? So now, where are you at? He could sign the extension now. Or he could wait until the end of next season. Now, for the Leon Rose, it's better for him to wait for the end of next season for two reasons. Number one, he shows his value. See, if he gets hurt again this year, everybody would agree, he's not worth a max extension. But if he goes through this season and becomes all NBA again, an all-star, he's looking at $200-something million. Okay, he's looking at OG and Anunoby type money, and more than that. And then with the new TV deal, he would get that. So that's why he probably won't sign it now, because he's guaranteed another $31 million. See, this year he's going to get about $29 million. And then he's still got another $31 million year coming. So if he breaks his knee or something, God forbid, and he can't play anymore, he's still got another $31 million coming to him. Okay. So he's kind of would be betting on himself. He could sign a $181 million extension now, and the Knicks would probably offer it to him. But it'd be better maybe for both sides for him to wait for the Knicks, because now, they see what if he can come back and play Juju Randle like he's showing, at least in the summer, he looked like he's back. He looked like the same old Juju, that he's been as far as physical specimen is concerned. I saw his game develop on the defensive end last year, and now even offensively, there was a lot of games in the last year and a half he was taking less shots and spreading that ball more and getting more assists. I think he's going to get better, and I think he's going to be just like he was then. And I think the 14-2 Knicks with him and OG is what you're going to see with him, OG, and McCall. Okay, so he may not sign an extension right now, but overall, what I'm saying is he's going to retire a New York Knick. Okay, he's going to retire a New York Knick, and there's a very good possibility that he wins at least one championship in New York. And if he wins one championship in New York now, he's a legend forever. I mean, you look, we still honoring the Knicks from '99 with Larry Johnson and Marcus Camby. We still honoring those guys. They ain't win no chip. Okay? They ain't win no chip. We still honoring Clyde, as we should, because he's the last legacy, him and Earl of Pearl, of the last chip. So when you win a championship in New York, there's no other place on earth in basketball that's better than winning a championship in New York. No place, not even the Lakers, than in New York. Okay, because we don't get as many as New York, as Boston and LA. So it's magnified. So he would become a legend. And so at this point, what I'm saying is he's going to get an extension in New York. And I don't know if it will be this summer or next year, but bottom line, they're not trading him. He's got a chance to become a real legend in New York, okay? And so I wouldn't worry about, and all the rumors about him being traded and all the trade ideas that come up are just BS. He's staying in New York. He's going to be loyal to them, and they're going to be loyal to him. Now, whether he signs the extension in August, I don't know. I could see that happening, just get it out the way. But I can also see, and put it this way, the Knicks are going to offer it to him. They're going to offer it to him. It's just a question of, and it's going to be quiet. You're not going to hear nothing about it unless he decides to sign it. All of a sudden you see he signed an extension. But they won't tell you if they offered it to him or not, because they don't want all of this BS from the media. And they play, and the Don plays it close to the vest. And with Juju, they really play it close to the vest. I mean, look, we still don't even know with Tom Thibodeau's contract. Like, we know it's a 3-year extension. We don't know how much it is, because they play it close to the vest, as they should. So they might, if he signs an extension now, I wouldn't be surprised. They'd announce it, obviously, and to be done. But I wouldn't also be surprised if he waited till next season and let him go through this year. And listen, if the Knicks win a championship, Juju could write his own ticket, and he should be able to. He will. Okay? And so that's that. There's ramifications for salary and all that as far as cap and tax. But if the Knicks win a championship, Dolan ain't worried about paying no tax now. All right? So anyway, that's where we stand with Juju. The bottom line, he's going to end up, I think, having his uniform in the rafters and retiring the Knick. And he should. He's earned it. Y'all enjoy your Tuesday. Sure.